Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do my August recommendations. This is the first time I'm going to do a monthly recommendations, and these recommendations are being hosted on a Goodreads group called Monthly Recommendations. I will link that one down below, and it is being hosted by Kayla Rain and Trina. I will link both of their YouTube channels down below as well. And I thought it would be fun to start with my monthly recommendations, especially now because the Goodreads group has existed for a year now. For this occasion, they have collected all of their previous prompts for recommendations and put them in one topic, so I have a lot of topics to recommend a book for. The first prompt is an underrated book, and for this one I went with Even Angels Fall by F.L. Darbyshire. This book is about a girl who loses her twin brother, and she and her family move to a new town. She has to go to a new high school where she doesn't have any friends at first, but she eventually meets new people and she falls in with the wrong crowd. They use drugs, they drink a lot of alcohol, they hang out at this apartment that is owned by an adult who is a drug dealer. I would recommend this because I thought it is a very long book, but I thought it was a very accurate depiction of a girl who slowly descends into wrong crowd, I guess, but also extremely got why she fell in with that crowd. I was like, that could have been me, because they were genuinely nice people. They only abused drugs, drank a lot of alcohol along with using drugs, and obviously one of their friends was a drug dealer, but that doesn't necessarily change if they are nice people or not, if you know what I mean. And I loved how F.L. Darbyshire portrayed that, but also the consequences of drug abuse and alcohol and what that eventually does to you. The second prompt is a book set in school, and I went with A Season for Fireflies by Maizel. This book is about a girl, she's in high school, but she gets hit by lightning and she suffers from amnesia. She doesn't remember how she abandoned her group of friends a year earlier and made some new friends. She doesn't remember her new friends at all, and she has to try and figure out what happened between her and her old friends and how to balance her new friends with her old friends and try to figure out what exactly happened all along. I really enjoyed this one. The premise didn't sound like anything I would enjoy, but I did enjoy how the author described theatre and the main character leaving her friends behind and having new friends, and how hard it is to make friends in general, and especially if you forget all of your friends. Like, what do you do if you don't remember anything? And all of these other people obviously did remember what the main character did to them. It's kind of hard if you don't remember what you did wrong, but other people do and they still blame you for it. A creepy book, The Diviners by Libba Bray. Like I said in another video of mine, I think this is the creepiest young adult book I have ever read. I have never read a young adult book that was as creepy as this one, and I thought the author did a really good thing with that. I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially because of the characters and the writing style. The book changes perspectives a lot. It is written in third person and it focuses on a lot of different characters with a lot of different abilities, and I cannot wait to move on to the next book and find out more about this world. A trilogy, and I went through my Goodreads list and I had a hard time picking a trilogy because I don't think I have finished any trilogies. So I went with a trilogy I haven't finished, but I'm currently reading the second book, and that is the Fire and Thorns trilogy by Carson. I'm enjoying the second book so much more than I enjoyed the first book. It is even better than the first book. I love the main couple in the second book of this. I ship them so much. I don't think I have shipped two people this much in a long time, but I'm honestly like butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, I need this couple to be together already. So that is why I'm recommending this to you, because I am honestly really enjoying the desert aspect of it, and Elisa becoming a strong ruler, and just everything. There's so many moments where you just want to fist bump and are like, yes, Elisa, yes. A book you think others should read ASAP or before the end of the year? Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. One of my favorite books of the entire year. It's about a girl who gets cheated on by her boyfriend and her best friend, who is also her roommate. So she doesn't have a home anymore. She's obviously not going to live with her best friend. She's on the street, and then she gets taken in by a neighbor from a building across. She is becoming his roommate, but she also has another roommate, Warren, who is this guy's best friend, and then another random girl. It's about Rich, who is the male main character, and Sydney, who is the female main character, falling in love, but Rich also has a girlfriend already that he can't dump, and he doesn't want to dump. So it's kind of him agonizing over the fact, who do I choose? What do I do? And I loved it. I loved the angst in this, like, honestly. And I did get why he couldn't choose. A fantasy book. I chose Stars by Colleen Oakes for this one. I would really recommend this one to you. It's a Peter Pan retelling, and it should have been the original Peter Pan tale again. I didn't like Peter Pan, the original one, but I really like this retelling of it. And if you have read Peter Pan, didn't like it, I would sincerely recommend this one because it is so good. I always expected that Wendy and Peter Pan would fall in love and not have a mother-son kind of relationship like it did in the original Peter Pan. But in Stars by Colleen Oakes, they do have a romantic relationship. And Peter Pan gets really creepy and it's amazing. It's exactly like I expected, as dark as I would expect it to be. A book with little to no romance. Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I'm going to explain something to you. There is no real romance inside this book. But one of the main characters in this book does have a romantic past that is talked about a lot. But there is not really any romantic interaction at all. That was what I wanted to say, but it's mostly about Scott McGrath, who is investigating his horror filmmaker Cordova, who he expects has been doing a lot of things that are illegal. And then Cordova's daughter, Ashley, dies, and Scott sinks into this world all over again, and he needs to figure out for himself what exactly is going on with Cordova, and he goes farther than he ever has. Standalone, I went with Fuzzy Nation by John Scalzi. This is not really a standalone, it's more like a continuation of a series that was written by someone else way before, but I read this as a standalone, and I think it is perfectly capable of being a standalone. And I really enjoyed it. This is a science fiction novel of a man who goes to this planet with his company, and they basically take oil from the ground there. He basically finds this new species and he calls them fuzzies. And he has to figure out if they are actually sapiens or not. There's a huge legal aspect in this, and I thought that was amazing. Like how the main character built his case and took a stand. Your favorite survival story, and I went with survival in the broadest sense of the word. I went with The Girl Who Fell by Shannon and Parker. This is an emotional abuse story. A girl gets into an abusive relationship with a new guy at school. She falls head over heels for him. You get to see this relationship from the moment she falls in love with him to the moment everything goes to shit. But I already expected everything that would happen in this, and I was hurting so much. Like, I saw exactly what he did wrong. I thought the guy was a huge creep in this, and she didn't see it. But I also thought it was very poignant because I have been in an abusive relationship myself, and I was like, I see all of the signals now, but I didn't see it myself back then, so I couldn't really blame the girl for anything she did, and I thought that was very frustrating and very confronting as well. Your favorite book friendship, Ronan and Ganzi from The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I love Ronan. Ronan is maybe my favorite character ever right now, and I love how Ganzi is always looking out for Ronan and how Ronan is so dependent on Ganzi, and how they're always there for each other when they need it. Ronan is a bit of a grump, like we all know that. I'm at the second book right now, by the way. But I really like Ronan as a character, and I can't wait to figure out more about this. Also, I have to say that Maggie Stiefvater has announced that she has outlined a whole Ronan-centered trilogy, and I am so excited. I just had to throw it in there. Anyway, The Raven Cycle is about this group of boys from Glanby Academy. They are called the Raven Boys. They are investigating this Welsh king, Glendower. And then there is Blue, who's the female main character. And she gets into this. She gets approached by Ganzi for Adam. And Adam and Blue kind of start dating, sort of. And Blue gets into this with them. And they all go after this Welsh king. A book set outside of the US, or a book that teaches travel or vacation. I went with Frontlines by Michael Grant. This book takes place most of the time in the US, but it also takes place outside of it, because there obviously is a war taking place, and the Second World War doesn't take place in America itself. But there's this girl who goes to the front line. She has to go to Europe to fight there, and I really enjoyed this book. It is going to be a duology, and I just loved how the author managed to portray characters from all different ethnicities, different backgrounds, and how they all had different roles in the military, especially because it's an alternate history, because girls were drafted. I really liked how the relationships were built up. What I didn't like was how the three main character stories didn't really intertwine with each other. I hope it changes in the second book, but I guess we will see. And I would really recommend this if you want to see strong girls in all different kind of ways, physically, mentally strong girls, military. A book with your favorite female empowering character. Velva Jean Learns to Fly by Jennifer Niven. This is the second book in the Velva Jean series, but it's my favorite book up until now. I have read the first two books, and I especially felt like Velva Jean was empowering in it because she learns how to fly, and she gets to fly in the military, and she's a really kick-ass character. She's intelligent. She's beautiful. She knows how to fly a fucking plane. I can't fly a plane. She can. And she gets these secret missions that she has to go on. She gets to really high places in the military. And I think it is so cool to see her from a young girl in the first book to where she is at the end of the second book. So these are my recommendations for this month. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you're going to read any of these books, if you're interested in any of them. If you have read any of them, let me know what you thought of them down below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.